What is going on, guys? Bisectatron here, bringing you today's video, and we are talking about some different techniques to overcome a lot of the new bases we're seeing in Clash of Clans right now. These are coming from our first week of CWL against the Swarm, and some great attacks to show. It was a great war, very close war. So I want to kind of highlight, because people are reacting to a lot of the common attacks, 11, Town Hall 12, Town Hall 13, that we talk about mostly here in terms of what you see in CWL. That's going to be the focus of this video. People are trying to defend against Hybrid, Yeti Smash, a lot of the common attacks, and there's ways you can exploit that and kind of mix things up a little bit, have a twist to some of these classic attack strategies that are working well right now, and that can really kind of help overpower a base that otherwise is pretty well set to defend against the meta. This first one we're taking a look at is a Yeti Smash with a Warden Walk, pretty common attack, but it has bat spells on the back end, which I really like as a complement to a Yeti Smash type attack. And you'll notice he had the Warden actually deal with the CC troops, which was interesting. We don't always see that, and sometimes it's kind of risky, but with a poison spell, the witches, ice golems, even baby dragons sometimes can't hurt the warden that much. It's mainly Valks you have to worry about, or dragons. So a bit of a gamble, but I think this wasn't a fresh hit, so he knew what the warden was going to deal with. Here comes the bat spell, and you can see this base, a lot of the wizard towers can be tanked with ice golems. A little bit early on that ice golem right there in the bottom left, but besides that, good use of them. And if you're building a base, that's one thing. Even though people aren't using bat spells as much, you've got to be careful with having your wizard towers too exposed. Use the mortars, use cannons, use other defenses to make it so they can't tank your wizard towers with ice golems. One thing that's kind of funny, if you look at that red bomb there, it's going to follow those bats for like a solid 30 seconds because the bats are just too fast and the red bomb can't catch up. So kind of funny how that worked out there. But you do have to be careful not to have your bats get too close to your healers or your balloons or whatever else you have up, because if they trigger a red bomb, the red bomb can still hurt the bats, even though the bats themselves can't trigger it initially. So keep that in mind. Right here, I think it'll take out a couple bats. But yeah, crush this base, and with the single infernos, that's the main thing. People have scatter shots, which adds more air targeting splash on the base. Wizard towers in multi-infernos, now also 2 scatter shots, but even still, if there's a bunch of single infernos, look to use the bat spells on the back end if you can, and the spell space was there because no jump was required for that attack. Okay, a couple more. We're going to switch to Town Hall 12, take a look at 2 Town Hall 12s, and then we'll look at Town Hall 11 as well. This one was my attack on my Town Hall 12 account, and this I think was pretty cheeky what I did here, using the Stone Slammer. And I've seen this on so many bases. I've really been wanting to do this more. Sometimes there's that one air defense that makes it so you can't do this, but other times you can neutralize the air defense, or in this case, it's just sitting there, all the value a Stone Slammer can get right here. It comes in, takes out a multi-inferno, takes out all these defenses. Should have put one more balloon there to take out that archer tower, because if a Tesla pops, this slammer is going to go on a bit of a walk around the outside, but it cuts back in, which is what I initially was hoping it would do, is get all the way to that eagle, and it does. Didn't necessarily need to happen, but I was hoping it would, and I have the Yetis in there. You can have different, if you're doing an air attack, you can have Electro Dragon, you can clone it like an Electron attack, you can put just balloons with a dragon. But I like to use the Yetis because you still get that Yeti bomb value. And I mean, look at how much of this base was taken out just by a Slammer and a Rage and a few balloons and baby dragons to kind of support it. Just an insane amount of the base already taken out. So here comes the Hybrid. As you can kind of see here, we're pairing these new techniques with the proven, reliable meta attack strategies. So pairing the Hybrid, which is probably the most powerful attack across all 3 of these Town Hall levels, with a kind of creative use of the Stone Slammer. So it's these little things that improve these attack strategies. You'll see, I don't know why I brought a jump, because there was no plan for a jump. I think I was just so used to having a jump in this army comp that I brought it anyway, so you got to be careful about that. If you're so used to having a certain army comp, don't get fooled with your spells and make sure you bring exactly what you need, because I could have brought another heal spell, which wasn't totally needed, but it would have helped over the Tesla farm area. So I guess we'll have a swag spell for this attack. That's what ends up happening. I'm just going to put it in the dirt on that CC in the middle. But yeah, this definitely was made by that Stone Slammer. So I've seen it a lot. Look to use the Slammer early in the attack. You can get insane value. The reason being, people are putting all their expos on ground, as they probably should, to defend against queen charges and stuff like that. So you can kind of find parts of a base where there's not a whole lot of air targeting stuff at all, really. And if you need to, you can drop your queen to take out an air defense, start a queen walk to kind of go adjacent or something like that. Just be creative. It won't always be given to you as easily as that base, but oftentimes there's still a way to kind of use that Slammer Yeti bomb. Okay, moving along here, wall wrecker action. This is something that I haven't seen in a while, and I never would have thought to do this either if I was looking to attack this base, but it's there. I mean, there's so much value for the queen to take out, just kind of following behind the P.E.K.K.A. and then the wall wrecker. The wall wrecker is going to open a lot up here. I think it almost gets that wall, but there's Valks in there. They're going to tear through the rest of that wall, take out the queen, get some damage on that multi-inferno, and the hound is going to pop. It's kind of bad timing. Sometimes you can't account for everything, but the poison takes out most of the little stuff, the pups and the archers. Just a little bit of leftover there, but does the right thing, just continues with the attack. The value is there, though. King, queen, wall wrecker, some support troops like a P.E.K.K.A. and some wizards. Takes out a good chunk of the base. Probably would have wanted to get that multi-inferno. Doesn't quite get it, but it was a good push anyway. Getting the eagle down early. Just the pathing is there for Lalo. And I think I'm going to make a separate video on Lalo because it's definitely come back. As people start to defend against the other meta attacks, Lalo has a place at Town Hall 13, Town Hall 12, Town Hall 11. Not the best to use right now, but if the base calls for it, go ahead and use it. We saw a lot of Lalo attacks. Surprised me for sure. So there's something to be said for using Lalo, and I'll make a video on it at some point to kind of show you guys what's working. But look at how many spells are left. Has the rage, just kind of overkill on the base at this point. Beautiful pathing through, and oftentimes that's kind of what you can do if you can get a good push with your queen or with the wall wrecker, whatever it is. People have very asymmetric bases in terms of where the damage is, so you can pick off a big chunk of the base with a small amount of investment, which, even though there's a lot of damage on the back end, the Town Hall, the Eagle, and several Inferno Towers, there's still good pathing, which is the most important thing for a Lalo attack, and you can see how many balloons are left up here. Very nice stuff. Okay, one more Town Hall 11 this time to take a peek at. Number 31 here, as we move our way down. Let's see, this one was a dragon attack, which I'm a big fan of. And dragons have been kind of making... I don't think they ever went away. I've always been a big dragon fan at Town Hall 11. There was a long time I only did drag bat, just automatic almost. But there's something to be said for dragons against a lot of these ground expos, as we're seeing here. 2 expos on ground. And there's good queen charge pathing, so you can walk right in, get 2 air defenses, get the queen, and start to head for that eagle, which cuts out a good space for the dragons to kind of push through. So in some sense, dragons are a good thing to use if there's a good queen charge available and you're not sure what else to use there, really. Sometimes just send in the dragons. If you don't know, maybe hogs aren't the best choice, maybe miners aren't the best choice for whatever reason, use dragons because they're more reliable. If the queen charge is successful, they're less likely to kind of have some big mistake. And one thing I liked here is the use of the siege barracks with the dragons. Not something you typically think of pairing. You'd almost always use the slammer. But the reason is the funnel is needed there, and the slammer's not going to create the funnel. instead of investing in E-Dragon or, baby dragons and having not as good of a funnel, goes ahead and puts down P.E.K.K.A. wizards and pretty much takes out the king, which is still going to be an issue for the dragons because they have to kind of take out everything in their path. They don't have any target preference. And then out comes dragon and a few balloons to kind of continue with the fight here. So the queen gets stuck on the lava hound. Dragons kind of come over and help, but there's enough to get the job done here. Warden's ability. We'll fast forward through this. Look to use dragons, not just the traditional drag bat, but the queen charge dragons. If it's there, just be careful on time because that can be an issue for queen charge dragon attacks. That'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bisectatron out.